leader sets his or her mind to it. Now we'd like to move on to 최충묵 from GS Retail, and he'll be talking about why GS Retail is so obsessive with ESG. Please welcome him with a big round of applause. Yes, hello. I am 최충묵. Thank you very much for that introduction. I'd like to start off by thanking Korea Economic Daily for putting together this wonderful forum. I am going to be sharing the case of GS Retail, and I understand that not us but many companies are learning about ESG or are trying to adopt ESG or literally being obsessive about ESG. So I'd like to share our story and go with that. So why are we so obsessive with ESG? Well, it's a short history for us, but I think it's short because it hasn't been a while. It's been relatively short since we started to actually, show to the outside world as to what we've been doing for quite some time. ESG does not stop just at our company. It goes beyond our suppliers, our partners, and ultimately has to go with our customers. So we believe ESG is a very broad issue that we need to really work together. So having said that, I would like to talk a bit about the GS Retail, the overall direction, what tools are we using, and some cases of ESG management at GS Retail. So this is us. We have largely three business areas. We do platform business, we do digital commerce business, and we also have a home shopping business sector. So those are the three large sections or parts within GS Retail. We were founded in 1971. And we merged with GS Shopping as of July 1st, 2021. So we call this year, 2021, as our jump-up year. So we have GS Shop, TV home shopping, mobile home shopping joining our business. So that's who we are. And the next question we'd like to share with you is, what did we need in terms of conducting ESG management or sustainable management? Well, we named our tool or our goal as OPTI, O-P-T-I. We first needed the O, standing for organization. We needed plan and tool to perform ESG within the company. And we also needed money, of course, investments. So we needed OPTI to conduct ESG management at GS Retail. I'm going to be talking about the organization, the plan, and the tools today with you. So let's start off with organization. ESG is indeed the hottest topic around these days. But we needed to have a very well set structure. We needed people who knew about ESG so that we could carry on ESG activities. So we started thinking, how are we going to execute? In what areas? By when? What are our goals and plans? What are the risks or obstacles that blocks our progress? And how are we going to make the investment decision based on non-financial features? So we needed an organization that would work on finding the answers for all of these questions. There are 3 R's that a company or businesses should need to do. They need to do IR, they need to do PR, and then they need to do HR. So these are the 3 R's that is important in doing business.
여기에 따라서 GS 리테일은
And to do all of that, we started out with a systematic organization to perform our ESG activities. So we need to come up with a lot of different ideas, different materials to get us going on the ESG work.
하는 방식은 여기 보시면은 자주연 방식이라고 돼 있죠. 우리 GS 리테일만의 방식입니다. 자주연이라고 하면 여러분들 아마
We have our own work principle. We call it
느껴지실 수 있을 겁니다. 자주연이라는 것은
the 자주연 in Korean. This actually is an acronym of self-directed research activity. So this is something that we have at GS Retail. If you have a question, if you have a research question that you want to solve, we encourage our employees to adopt the self-disciplined research activity, or the SDR, if I may call it in an English abbreviation. So with that tool or framework, we have an ESG working level team at the very bottom layer. So this involves merchandising, facilities, HR, training, IR, mutual cooperation, sales, broadcasting, and everything. So they come together and they do a self-directed research activity together and draw out the issues and the questions that needs to be dealt with within the umbrella of ESG. So this is where we collect the data, we do the actual analysis, and do the risk analysis, of course. And so that's the RM, Risk Management Task Force. That's indicated in the red box. So with the data that we have collected and analyzed, the ideas are brought up to the ESG promotion committee, composed of 7 C-level management, including the CEO, COO, CPO, CSO, CFO, CHRO, and CCO. And above that, we have the board of directors, and within the board of directors, we have a separate ESG committee.
환경적인 부분 요즘 이슈가 많죠. 이렇게 해서 저희들은 체계적인 ESG.
And other than this ESG committee at the board of director level, we also have a compliance team and a CGO negotiation or collaboration team. So that's how we organized ourselves to conduct various ESG activities. Now we move on to the plan and the tools. So for ESG management, how should GS Retail set its goal? We needed to consider the industry that we were in, the type of business that we were in. We also needed to get the consensus and persuade of our various stakeholders. We need to persuade our partners, and we also needed to have employees that could really work together to achieve this sustainable practice. Our plan is comprised of 3 stages. Right now, we're in stage 1. This is the introduction period. This will continue until February of year 2022. So this is when we set up the overall basic framework for ESG management, and we will have a very structured evaluation tool in play. In our second stage, this is a development stage. This is from March 2022 to December of 2024. It's a 2-year process. Here we'll have all of our employees really drill in the ESG management philosophy, plans, and tools. So everybody will get involved in the ESG management process. And then in the third stage, we call it the stabilization period, which will start in March of 2024 and then continue onwards. Here we'll be creating future value based on ESG management. So that is our long-term plan.
ESG 경영에 따른 계획과 방침, 저희들이 특히 이제 예시로서 이제 환경적인 부분들에 대해서
We'll give you an example of the ESG plans and tools, example from the environment sector. Here we have the vision of GS Retail leading the future green management, and our slogan is Green Life Together. GS Retail is our lifestyle platform. It's an area, it's a distribution industry. We really have a lot of touch points with actual customers. And in terms of the environmental management, we have 6 separate goals, as you can see in the shape. We have the green product, green delivery, green store, green new business, green partnership, and green marketing. So these are the 6 elements that comprise our green management. So let's take an example of green product. We work on developing nature-friendly, environmental-friendly products, water bottles that do not have those plastic wrappings, PET bottles that will be recycled and turned into new water bottles. So that will be that. The green delivery deals with how we can minimize environmental impact in the various delivery activities that we have as a retail business partner. Also, we have seen a huge increase of packaging material, boxes, plastic containers because of COVID-19. We work on how we can reduce that overall package waste. We also have activities related to Green Store, where we work to reduce waste at those stores and also use less energy as possible. In the area of green partnership, we work to connect with the local community and also work with our partners to achieve the green business environment.
GS리테일은 ESG 경영에 대해서 보여주기식이 아닌 실질적인 경영을 하고 싶었습니다.
What we wanted to do with ESG at GS Retail was definitely to move away from greenwashing. We wanted to make sure that we really put our ideas, our philosophy into action, not just as a masking or to look good, but really to reach substantial outcomes. It's easy for companies to just showcase good activities, something that is worthy of promotion when it comes to ESG activities. We wanted to be more honest, more open, and more transparent. So instead of showing only what we are good at, we will also be honest and frank about what we lack in and areas that we will need to do more work in the months and years ahead. So we have different tools that we can use to achieve this. We have the risk evaluation tool, the BEP analysis tool, partners ESG support tool, and the franchise business ESG standardization tool. So let me go over each one of them. The ESG risk evaluation tool looks at how we can evaluate future risks associated with ESG and try to reduce that. The x-axis indicates how severe the risk is, and the y-axis indicates how frequent the risk may occur. So in the red marked area, if the company happens to be situated in the red area, it means we're in big trouble. So with this metrics, we evaluate the activities of our business in different business areas.
제로화를 하는 부분들로
And our ultimate goal would be to go to a 0 point with low
위험성 측정 예측을
risk
발생 횟수
severity and low risk occurrence frequency.
적용해가지고 위험성에
So we will calculate these figures with weighted,
진행을 하고 있습니다.
giving different weights to different elements.
동일하게 반복되는 경우라든지 유사 위험
If you have similar accidents or risks occurring within the same company, it will be weighted. If you have a certain partner company that is repeatedly making the same mistakes, it will be weighted. So these different formulas will be applied to draw up the ESG risk evaluation grade. So you have high, medium, low, and zero grade. So let me give you an example of how we would do this. Now, again, this is just an example. It's not a real case. So for example, if we say from a GS25 store in town A, let's say they had a violation of product circulation date, and they got a warning from the health authorities of the local municipal government. So mistakes or accidents like this will be collected by the risk management task force team, and all of these data will be gathered, and using the formula that I briefly explained in the previous slide, each of these incidents will be given a score. Again, going through the formula with the weighted elements for the different aspects. So once those scores are evaluated, once we get those scores, we will know whether a certain store or certain business or certain partner is situated in a certain risk level or risk grade. So that will be used as our basis for managing those risks. Here, we'd like to talk a little bit about the GS리테일's ESG examples. We have three cases. One is the environmental coexistence information adopted from the standardization of our stores. Another is the SEMS or the SEMS, where we use to reduce the used energy, and how we use the refill stations to reduce the waste coming out from the products. So this page shows how we conducted a study, how we collected data for a period of 3 years. That's the usual time period we have with the individual stores. So that's just the contract period. So for the 3 years, we analyzed how much energy they use, how much greenhouse gas they emit, how much water they use, how much waste they produce, and so forth. Now, all of these data are collected by individual stores. We don't add up all of these data collected from our numerous GS25 stores. Although that might make things easier, we don't do it that way, because we understand that each GS25 store is operated individually by the store managers or the store franchisee owners. We recognize their contribution to, or their independence in running that GS25 store. So that's why we do a 3-year kind of like a isolated block data gathering, and not do a universal add up all the numbers kind of research. We believe that is more effective in actually working with each of the individual franchise store owners and managers. This is an example of the SEMS operations. So in a typical convenience store, you have your freezers, your refrigerators, you have the signboards, and you have the internal temperature control. Now, all of these elements are related to temperature control. So you need to have the right temperature for your fridge, your freezers inside the store, and also for the signboards, depending on the weather, depending on the outside temperature, and so forth. And all of these would, of course, affect the freshness of the products that are sold, as well as saving, when done properly, saving electricity cost for the stores as well. So we have introduced an app that can be used at individual stores. It's a mobile app that can be downloaded and used by the individual franchise store owners. So, for example, through the SEMS mobile app, you can directly link the weather forecast from reliable sources, and those information will be directly transformed to give you an alert or an indication for you to turn on or off the signboards, to lower your temperature inside the store, and so forth. Everything can be done remotely. Temperature control, signage on and off control can be done remotely through the SEM mobile app as well. So this is a very convenient tool for the convenience store managers to use under the umbrella of the overall ESG activity. The third example that we'd like to share with you is our refill station. So this is to provide the customers with the choice of opting not to buy products that use a lot of plastic for packaging. And these are some of the results. The no-label water bottles have become very common nowadays. We also lend out multiple-use packaging bags instead of plastic bags to our customers. So these are the results that we have had so far. So with that, I'd like to wrap up my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you, sir. We would like to ask you just one question before you step down. You mentioned the green delivery in your 6 business areas. Recently, GS리테일 acquired Yogio, the food delivery service. And I'm a big user of those services. So these delivery activities are done with the riders using their motorbikes. That's going to create more CO2 emissions. So how is the company going to deal with that particular element? Well, we did actually look into the delivery on foot option as opposed to using motorbikes. And we are actually going to look into areas of using not the traditional motorbikes, but maybe introducing the use of electric bikes or scooters for assisting the riders with their walk-on delivery. So that's I think one way of making our contribution.